chilly today. too windy to do this little trick here. So I'm less than 13. So we should be good. Oh, this thing is so wide, man. quick break. Time now is only 9:20, so I'm pretty sure in it'll take me less than 2 hours. So maybe we can even leave earlier, because I need a pilot, and the pilot is, we said let's meet at 12 o'clock. But I have his phone number, so I might just call him. Just called my pilot, and he has a sleepy voice. I said, "Are you sleeping? Did I wake you up?" He says, "No, I'm about to leave, and time now is 10." I don't know what's wrong with me today. Oh, look at this. Maybe that's the kind of trailer I should have. Easy, you know, 1 axle, 4 tires, fixed neck. I bet they overload those trailers like there's no tomorrow. Anyway, yeah, so I'm ready. I got up at 3:45 today. Can you believe this? Actually, I set up the alarm for 4:15, and then 3:45, some like people around me were idling all night. I don't understand this. Like +1 33F. Why are you idling? Like, are you dead or alive, you know? Because sometimes I have the impression people are dead because they want to have like 10F inside the cab, you know, otherwise they cannot sleep. So now it's perfect temperature, you know, it's not cold, it's not hot, right? I didn't idle. By the way, I changed my filter yesterday because the level, you know, that water separator, the level was like, I never saw such a high level. Like, I don't see any restriction, you know, the truck pulls okay, but the level was too high. And so I opened up the filter, and guess what? The guys who changed that filter, I forgot where I did this, but I remember the previous one started giving me lots of restriction, and so I stopped somewhere. I think it was a quick lube place, and I asked him to change the filter because I didn't want to get dirty. And what they did is they forgot the rubber, you know, like at the bottom of the filter there's a rubber, and sometimes the problem is that when you take off the old filter, the old rubber always stays there. And I watched the refresher kind of like a video on YouTube to see how to do this, how to change the filter. You know, sounds stupid, but there's a lot of minute details you have to be aware of, right? And one of them is this rubber thing, and they say always make sure that you take off that rubber. So what these guys did, they didn't take it off, and then they put the new filter with the rubber in at the bottom. They pushed it on, right? And so now that first rubber went down, right? And so now the filter sits on 2 rubbers, so it was sitting very tall, you know. So sometimes it's amazing, like sometimes you pay people to do a job, and actually I did a better job myself, you know. No, but actually, okay, to be fair, at first I didn't take that off, you know, but then I pushed the cover on top, everything is good. But when I tried to pour some diesel fuel at the top, it started splashing, you know, like what the heck, I don't understand what's going on. Like the filter was so tight against the top, there was no room for fuel to go. And so I covered it like that, and because, you know, my truck has an automatic fill up. Like when you turn the key, there's a pump and it starts pumping, so you don't actually need to pour fuel. You just turn the key and you wait 2 or 3 minutes, and you can see right away how the level goes up, right? And so I did that. The truck sneezed a couple of times, but then started. But then something was in the back of my mind, you know, because I remember seeing that black rubber at the very bottom for some reason. And I watched the video again on YouTube, one truck where this trucker was showing how to change the filter, and I fast forwarded to the part where he shows, you know, when everything is taken out, and I see that that stem is bare. There should not be any rubber over there. I'm like, son of a gun. So I opened the filter again, took it out. Sure enough, I had that black rubber in there, so I took it off, and right away the filter, you know, went down the way it should, and it was sitting pretty good there. And then I refilled everything, but it was funny. And that's why the level was so high, you know. So maybe the filter was okay, but I wasn't sure what's going on. Oh, I know these machines. Dopstadt. What they call them? I forgot, but it's kind of like a screen. And so yeah, then I got up that real early. I slept in Breezewood at the TA there, and I left like 5:15 in the morning. And for the whole hour, as I was driving, my stupid tablet could not find the signal, because I was at the bottom of Pennsylvania with lots of hills, and it just stuck, you know. It's dark. I'm not sure where I'm going, you know. But of course, you know, I drove on that I-70 a million times, but still, it's I-70, then 270. You don't want to go on 270 because you'll end up in Washington, D.C., right? And then finally, when I went into Maryland, I restarted the tablet a couple of times, and finally it found the signal, which is interesting, again, because I never have these issues on the phone, right? The same Verizon. If I start the maps, everything works, but tablets, for some reason, they're not as sensitive, you know. Even though it has Verizon, you know, everything works, it has its own number, right? So I can actually, they say that these new tablets, you can even make phone calls. You need some kind of an app, I think, but you can actually use them as a phone, you know. Just hook up a headset and just use the headset with that little mic. Oh, that son of a gun. That's where I wanted to park. Because yeah, I cannot park here. I guess that's the exit. Maybe there's enough room for both of us over here. I think we're good. And that guy stopped. Why are you stopped? Well, actually, there's a space here. Like, those guys are not very long, so they can park in here, probably. But now it's 10:20. 10:20. Oh, and he's leaving. Son of a gun. Lots of equipment, and I see lots of smaller machines. You see, like, I have 250 CX250 case, 62,000 pounds, but still pretty heavy. A guy next to me was loading Cat 320. Okay, I'm gonna switch to off duty. Oh, drop side rail. Here we go. What is this noise? Oh, there's some kind of a suction truck over there sucking something. Oh, probably a sewage. So anyway, and I didn't stop. I only stopped for like a second on this downhill road because there's a very steep railroad crossing over there, which reminds me I have to raise my front as well, just to be on the safe side. And I stopped there for a second, ran back, raised the front, and then went over. And what's interesting is that I never come to the port before 8 because I thought the gate opens at 8. Turns out the gate is always open, from what I understand, because, you know, I wanted to stop on the side of the road there, but it's paid parking. Like there's on the main, what is that? Not downhill, what is it called? You know, the other road that goes to 95. There's lots of very wide shoulder, and there's a bike path, and there's parking for cars. And but I see there's a sign that says 2 hours and you have to pay somewhere there at the machine. Okay, the rule, like they always ask you, right? What channel you want to be on? Now my rule is day of the month. Day of the month. Yeah, this guy was loading next to me. It's a Cat 320. So I use day of the month. So 28th of April, so we're using channel 28. Just easy, you know, so that easy for them to remember. Because I know this guy told him to wait for me at the parking lot. Actually, last time that's where I was, where those guys stopped. So there's another couple of other spots over there. And I was sitting there, and like the parking, the exit from the port is maybe like 400 meters, you know, a quarter of a mile. And I was able to talk to them, to my pilot on the radio, sitting here, even though I cannot see him. But I figured it was close, so I started calling, hey, you know, can you hear me? And sure enough, the guy was able to hear me. So anyway, yeah, I showed up here at the port at 7:15, and I thought, okay, maybe like, where do I park? You know, I have to wait. Turns out, no, I see all the guys are lined up at the gate. So I lined up as well, and I thought maybe they're just waiting for 8 o'clock. No, I see the line is moving. So definitely the security and the gate, you know, I don't know if they're open 24/7, but they open before 8. And now, you know, they used to have you used to talk to them through the mic on there's like, you know, there's like a gate, and there's like a post there, like a big box, and there's a camera in there, there's a printer which kicks out the pass, and there was a button. It says, you know, to call, push this button. And then for some reason they stopped doing that. So now you come up to this post, and there's a sign there that says call this number. So now everything is done by the phone. And then they say, if you don't have, mini deck. Actually, no, that's not a mini deck. No, maybe it is. The guy has what, 4 axles in the back? Yeah, mini decks, you know, it's like the side of the deck is like this tall, but because of this they're super heavy, and quite often it's solid steel, you know, but you can load like a 13-foot tall machine, you know. I was thinking about getting that, you know, but I'm complaining now that I'm heavy. I'm 7,000 pounds heavier than my previous 55 ton, right? So I don't want to be heavier, because then you need to use a lot of axles for the same load, you know, more axles for the same weight. And so yeah, I called that number when it was my turn. They asked me if I was picking up or dropping off and where I was going. So I told them the name. I told them the name of my terminal, and they said, okay, the pass is coming out. And the pass just sticks out halfway through the slot, and you drag it, and then you go to the actual gate where the security guard sits. So it's like a two-step process, right? So first you have to get the pass at this gate 1 where there's no one there, but you talk to them through the phone, and then you go to the actual gate. You show them your TWIC card, your driver's license, and your pass, and she writes something on it, and then she opens the barrier and you can go. So yeah, I've been here a million times, and it's always most of the time it's this Mid-Atlantic terminal, because there's quite a few. It's a huge property here, right? But it's like either shed 12. Like I remember first time, I'm like, where the heck, what's shed 12? And I think it took me like half a day just to find the spot, you know. And then I think I had a load in Bond, so you have to go find customs. There's US Customs office here inside, so where's customs? And then you go to the customs to cancel the bond, you know, like back in the day where it was all done physically, you know, like in person. Now it's all remote, and I don't remember last time I had to go to customs, you know, and let them stamp. Nobody stamps anything anymore, because the guy who gave you the bond, he can cancel it from his end on his computer. All they need to do, they just need to have a piece of paper with a stamp of the port saying, you know, goods received. As soon as he has that, you send him that and he can cancel the bond. But back then it was, you know, first you have to find this shed 12 that nobody knew where it was. Then you had to check in there, and then you stay there for like half an hour in line, and then the guy looks at your paperwork and he says, I'm telling you, he says, Mid-Atlantic Terminal. I'm like, what? I thought it was here. And it says shed 12. It's like a mobile trailer, you know, where they turn it into an office. So I remember I could never figure out, like, I go to Mid-Atlantic Terminal, I stay in line, and when it's my turn, the guy looks at the paper, he says, oh, you have to go to shed 12. Next time I go to shed 12, it says, no, you need to go to Mid-Atlantic. And it's all Mid-Atlantic, you know. Oh, and then actually there was one more location, like Mid-Atlantic is right behind me, shed 12 is a bit this way, but there's another terminal that way, also inside the port. I was there a few times. So yeah, you have to, you know, pay attention to your paperwork, because a lot of new guys, you know, they just show up there, they see, oh, there's lots of truckers, everybody's in line waiting, and then you waste all this time, and turns out you're in the wrong terminal, you know. But to me now it's funny, but I remember first couple of times, man, it was so stressful, you know. Now it's like coming home, you know. I know where I have to go, I know where I have to park. Oh yeah, and of course here at this Mid-Atlantic terminal, they used to have like 6 or 8 guys, maybe like my age, or maybe older, maybe like 65, you know, almost 70. And those guys were so loud, and they always talking about politics and, you know, all this stuff, you know. It's like a club, you know. For them it was like a club. I guess they were bored to sit at home, so they would show up for work, and there's a sign there that says start here. And you first talk to one old guy, he does something on the computer, stamps his paperwork, he says go to the next window. Then you go to the next guy, and they all sit like in line. And I think back then you had to do like 3 stops, like 3 windows, and they were all, I think there was like 1 woman, and then there was about more like 90% were old guys, you know. And they keep talking about, so you wait there in line, and you basically get entertained with the latest news from politics, you know, from internet, I mean from entertainment. And they keep talking. Have you heard that guy was shooting cops at the subway the other day? Oh yeah, Charlie, yeah, I heard that. Awful. And one guy sits here and he talks over the heads of these 4 people to guy number 5, you know. I'm telling you. it was quite an experience. And then one day COVID happened, right? And then when port reopened, because it was closed for a couple of months, I remember they were not shipping anything when COVID was really bad. And then they opened. I go there and all the old guys are gone. Now there's a young guy, and in one window where it says start here, and then there's a very attractive female operator on the other end. And so you only have 2 stops to make. So first you start here, the guy does his magic and he says, okay, go to the young lady in the end there. And then the young lady says, okay, baby. Everybody's a baby, and she has like nails like this and tattoos, you know, she's so beautiful. And so, okay, baby, go next door. And that's another thing that I learned during my first visits, because not only you have to deal with these old guys, like, and make 5 stops at these 5 different windows, and then they give you everything, right? And then they say, go to the trailer next door. And I'm like, what? And it turns out there's another stop you have to make. So that's like a yard management office, right? So those guys will tell you where it's supposed to be parked, your machine, and they take all the paperwork. And then when you're done, you have to come back and they check the serial number. This was back in the day, right? Then they stopped doing that. So now you don't have to go back. It's very easy. The checker comes out, because they have all these cars, right? It says something terminal, and he comes and he finds you, he looks at the serial number, and he gives you the paperwork. That's it. So you don't have to make, like before, I'm telling you, it was so complicated. But yeah, I started saying that I did get through the gate at like 7:15, 7:20, and then I parked and I see so many trucks, and I see a bunch of guys all inside. One guy was wearing a mask. I didn't bother with a mask. And turns out it was to be open at 8. And so I was there, like, I think I was there by the time I was done dropping my axles, because I lifted the front axle and I lifted the third axle, but I wanted to drop the front axle because, you know, sometimes you have to make sharp turns in here, and with front axle in the air, it just, the truck takes forever to turn around or make a turn. And so I did that. I went inside, and I think I still waited like 20 minutes. But then it was pretty fast. Boom, 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 you know, maybe 10-15 minutes. And in front of me I had like 20 people probably. And that lady says, baby, go next door. I said, thank you. I went there, and the guy says K8, which is another change. Back in the day, first off, the rows were never marked like that. Another, like, first I was looking for the terminal, right? Then I went, I lined up, turns out I'm in the wrong terminal. Then I go look for the second terminal. Then they say, no, you have to cancel the bond first. Then I go look for the US Customs. Then finally I'm back over there, and then they say, it's over there, you see, like near the water, you will see. Just, you have the serial number of your machine, right? Just look for it somewhere in that area. or no, he would say row, you know, Q or P. Like they never knew the spot, you know, because there's like P1, P2, like you see now he says K8, because they're all marked now. But before, first off, half of the posts were missing. So you go there, you see S, T, M, D. So where's Q, you know? I start asking people, nobody knows. Oh, ask the guy in the car. The guy says, oh, I have no idea. What are you picking up? And I think back then they were trying to group them, you know, by brand, you know, cat, you know, case, whatever, tiger, cat. And so, yeah, then you spend another hour trying to find your machine. Okay, what is this? There's a pilot. Oh, there's a lady. Oh, I'm guessing somebody doesn't have a tweak, maybe that's why. Sometimes, you know, if you don't have a tweak card, you can still get in, but you need a pilot that has a tweak card, and they charge you. Probably this guy goes in, he doesn't have a tweak, flatbed, and now the pilot will charge him. Back in the day it was like 50 bucks an hour, and he has to sit there with you, you know. So it can be like, for me, normally if I'm here at 8, I don't leave until 1. It was like $200-300, you know, just for nothing. And that's why I said, finally, that's it, I'm gonna get my own tweak, because that one only costs like 150 bucks for 5 years. But it's tricky. You have to drive to US, you have to find the office. Like this time I went to near Buffalo, and then I couldn't get it back because the border was closed, and there's nowhere to park there in a truck. It's, you know, it's a town. And then finally, when the border reopened, I went in my car and they got that tweak. So yeah, so I think since I'm leaving early today, usually I stop in Duncannon, because by the time I get past Harrisburg, I'm always caught in that curfew, in that 11:15 over there, you know. But this time, since I'm almost like hour and a half earlier than before, so the guy says he's coming, he'll be here at around 11. He's gonna call me on my cell phone when he's at the exit there, and then I can go. So I think this time I'm not gonna stop in Duncannon. Well, I'm gonna stop there, grab a coffee or something, a sandwich, but I'll probably go to Dansville, you know, go to Dansville. And then I can deliver tomorrow maybe, but we'll see. But it would be nice to deliver tomorrow. Oh, and I did order yesterday. The shop came through where my car is now, and they couldn't read the calibration. Oh, check this out. This is a cool truck. It's a Volvo VNX. Volvo VNX. Single axle Jeep. Oh, Ontario. When I was buying this truck, a guy was offering me Volvo, like back, you know, in 2017, and he says we're gonna discontinue them with the big comments. He says if you buy one before December 31st, before the end of the year, I'll give you a big discount. It was like a 4axle truck, you know, like mine, except it's a Volvo VNX. And I think the wheelbase was pretty short, but the guy was willing to sell it for like 95,000 or something Canadian. and I said no. So I bought Kenworth for 235,000 Canadian. And then the prices went up, right? So now I can pretty much sell it for the same price. Anyway, so now you're up to date. Do we have the battery yet? Okay, I'm gonna show you some driving once I hook up with my pilot. I worked with him before. His name's Cliff. I think he escorted me a couple of times before. But you know, sometimes we're driving, we're shooting, you know, the air, shooting the breeze, beating about the bush. So I'll let you listen in. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, tell her it's gone. Some traffic coming down. We can get rid of. Okay, let's pull on out. He's got him blocked. Okay, go ahead on by me.
Yeah, Cliff has to be behind me because it's a divided road. But when it's a two-lane road, I don't have much battery left. I think I'll just show you guys how we're getting out. We'll see how many freight brokers are gonna be injured.
Coming when you left.
Yeah, it's not very heavy, but really wide, you know. Well, actually, I probably shouldn't say really because it's 11.2. You see, that's what I meant when I was saying that you can stop, you know. That's where I wanted to stop, on the other side, but turns out it's all paid parking. You have to pay. Yeah, sometimes if you use that squelch, you know, you lose, you cannot hear the guy. Amazon in the front. And why we have flashing lights? Please don't tell me he broke down. Because that would be because I'm so close to him. If he broke down and I have to back, well, my pilot will have to get out of the way. Oh no, he's moving. Okay. Man, the guy on the other side, his trailer is like 1 inch off the ground. Man.
Good, you lost it.
Can you block this curb lane?
I got it.
Because I have to go wide in here. And when I'm by myself without the pilot, like I stay in this lane, like a middle lane, right? But to turn, you have to be in the curb lane. But I cannot go in the curb lane because I would hit the post in there on the corner. So I have to go wide. So I have to turn right from middle lane. And the problem I had when I didn't have a pilot is that everybody, you know, usually there's a lineup behind me, right? Because I'm going slow. And so when this opens up here, everybody goes into this lane. And then I pretty much have to stop there and wait for somebody to let me in. See, this time I have the pilot, which is perfect. So he's taking care of my right flank. Yeah, I see this post very close. To stop here for some reason last time. I think I was looking, I was paying him cash or something, and so I stopped here and right away there was like a lineup of 20 cars, you know. Oh, he's behind me, see? He already knows, I didn't even have to tell him. He's blocking that. There's a pretty sharp turn in there. We have to go like this. See, like juk. Go like this. Like 95 over there. Then again, without the pilot here, you know, once you're on the freeway, it's fine. I don't think I need him. But just to get to the freeway, take my turn signal. I'll need to replace the bulb again. Like, I don't understand. Why do you need all these rocks, right? And you see they all run down. It's so tight. All right, so now we're just going 5 miles to 695. I'm gonna shut down here because my camera is gonna cut off anytime now. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll do another, I might do the an unloading video when I'm in Canada.